I want you to keep in mind something. In comparison to the debut week, Angel Reese's debut game with the Rose BC Basketball Club has lost over half of its viewership.
It's 1996, and Michael Jordan has just clinched another championship. But this isn't quite the same story we're seeing today. Instead of Unrivaled becoming the next big thing in women's basketball, the viewership is headed in the opposite direction. It's actually dropping fast.
Opening night audience within 3 weeks. We see numbers of 310,000, 320,000. 3 weeks later, 140,000 viewers for Unrivaled. More than half of the audience has disappeared. Oh no, say it ain't so.
300,000 viewers, which was a solid launch and a hopeful sign for the future of women's basketball. But now, just 3 weeks later, those numbers have been cut in half. And if this trend continues, we could be facing a serious problem. Right now, Unrivaled is missing its biggest star, Caitlin Clark. She's not just another player, she's a phenomenon. People who don't usually watch basketball are tuning in just to see her play, talking about her shots, her style, and her game-changing influence. Without her, Unrivaled feels more like just another basketball league.
The one person, it's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that. Like,
I'm sorry. I can't. She really believes that. She believed it then. She believed that they were started to watch her because...
Reflect that. The WNBA saw a record-breaking viewership when Caitlin was on the court. She brought in the kind of numbers that made headlines and even caught the attention of casual fans, your neighbor, your coworkers, maybe even your grandma. Without Caitlin, the numbers aren't coming in the same way. This is a league that was supposed to revolutionize women's basketball, but it's now facing the challenge of keeping fans engaged. Angel Reese, while certainly talented, has had the 2 lowest-rated games so far. The numbers speak for themselves. Viewership for her games has been dramatically lower than expected, with some games barely hitting 100,000 viewers. At this point, Unrivaled needs a major fix.
Focusing on their weird utopian fantasies, maybe their dump would be upgraded to a polished.
Means securing more star power, changing the marketing strategy, or even bringing in Caitlin Clark. Something needs to change if this league wants to make a lasting impact on women's basketball. Each week, the viewership continues to fall. If this trend continues, they could be lucky to pull in 50,000 viewers by next month. And here's the thing, this league was marketed as a place for star power, for players to shine and make their mark. But when the star power isn't enough to keep fans engaged, it raises some serious questions about where the league is heading. In addition to the slipping viewership, there have been some tough moments on the court as well. Angel Reese made history as the first player
On True TV alone, but they must not have counted TNT. It wasn't on TNT. It was on True TV only. Okay? It was on True TV only. So no TNT numbers, no HBO Max numbers. Lunar Owls on True TV, 118,000. Missed Rose on...
It's a tough milestone to hit, especially so early in the league's history. And when she was benched during a recent game, instead of her team struggling without her, they seemed to step up their play, proving that her absence might not have been as impactful as expected. If Unrivaled wants to thrive, it needs to figure out how to hold on to its audience. The current trend is not a good sign, and without a shift, the future may not be as bright as originally hoped. It's time for the league to make some adjustments, and fast. Let's talk about women's basketball for a moment. We've all heard the claim that Angel Reese is the game changer, the reason the WNBA is thriving. But if we look at the numbers, they seem to tell a different story. The reality is, numbers don't lie, unless, of course, you're rounding up your follower count for some extra flair. Despite the headlines, the big statements, and the claim that Angel is changing the game, the viewership isn't reflecting that. If Angel Reese truly were the driving force, wouldn't we see the audience tuning in to watch her? The fact is, When Caitlin Clark stepped
basketball player on the planet isn't involved in the Unrivaled, and weeks in, ratings are down under 100,000 viewers. So where's the lie? What am I missing?
the ratings skyrocket, much like gas prices in the summer. But when Angel takes the floor, it's more like a clearance sale at a discount store. Not bad, but not exactly bringing in the big crowds. This isn't about knocking Angel. Confidence is essential for any athlete. But if you're going to say you're shifting the culture, it's important that the numbers show it. It's been a few years since that national championship game, and sure, there's been a lot of buzz. Celebrities at games, sold out arenas. It's exciting, no doubt. But one game doesn't shift the whole league. Let's face it, the league isn't suddenly booming because of Angel. Caitlin Clark, on the other hand, is breaking records, bringing in massive viewership, and leaving a lasting legacy. It's not just about the team or the game.
Things have probably been said about me, but honestly, I'll take that because look where women's basketball is. People are talking about women's basketball, but you never would think that we'd be talking about women's basketball. People are pulling up to games. We got celebrities coming to games, sold out arenas, like just because of one single game. And just looking at that, like
Her performance has taken women's basketball to new heights, and even coach Dawn Staley of South Carolina has publicly acknowledged what Caitlin's done for the sport. If Caitlin were involved in this rivalry, we wouldn't even be having a debate about the viewership. The conversation would be about how the WNBA is dominating the sports world. Networks would be fighting for broadcasting rights, and you'd see Caitlin Clark jerseys everywhere. At the end of the day, it's all about the numbers. And right now, Caitlin Clark is the one making waves. She's the
South Carolina coach Dawn Staley took a moment to acknowledge what Clark has done for the sport.
Just don't want to not utilize this opportunity to thank Caitlin for what she's done for women's basketball. Like her shoulders were heavy and getting a lot of eyeballs on our game.
A lot of buzz. Celebrities at games, sold out arenas. It's exciting, no doubt. But one game doesn't shift the whole league. Let's face it, the league isn't suddenly booming because of Angel. Caitlin Clark, on the other hand, is breaking records, bringing in massive viewership, and leaving a lasting legacy. It's not just about the team or the game, it's the power of Caitlin's influence. Her performance has taken women's basketball to new heights, and even coach Dawn Staley of South Carolina has publicly acknowledged what Caitlin's done for the sport. If Caitlin were involved in this rivalry, we wouldn't even be having a debate about the viewership. The conversation would be about how the WNBA is dominating the sports world. Networks would be fighting for broadcasting rights, and you'd see Caitlin Clark jerseys everywhere. At the end of the day, it's all about the numbers. And right now, Caitlin Clark is the one making waves. She's the player that's bringing in the eyes, the excitement, and the energy. Whether we like it or not, her influence is undeniable.
Now 190 is better than 140, but both are better than the week prior and both are better than the opening night. We are headed on a downward spiral. Fast. This is falling fast.